So we know, that cobots are occupying a unique use case space, given that they can work collaboratively alongside humans for a variety of tasks and safely, it would seem.
Mhm.
But what are these tasks? What applications are cobots ideal for, and what exactly, like end of arm tooling and the grippers, enable these applications?
That's a very good point because at the end of the day, the cobot itself is just an arm, and it can't do anything by itself. It can move around, but it doesn't actually do anything until you put something on the end of it. And that's why we call them end effectors or end of arm tooling. Uh, the grippers and various tools that are available are very wide. Everything from a simple 2-finger or 3-finger mechanism to grip parts. It might be vacuum cups on the end of the arm to vacuum hold boxes or a part or a bag, for example, to pick it up, to place it. There's quite a variety of different tools that are available. One of our suppliers has even got the things like screwdrivers as an end of arm tooling, polishing heads for polishing parts and bodies, car bodies, for example, even sanding applications. There's a whole myriad of various tools that are available to make the cobot not just an arm, but a functioning piece of manufacturing equipment. And of course, one of the key elements that we do at Diverseco is welding process. So we've worked with one of our suppliers to develop a package that includes a 350 amp welding unit. And with the collaborative robot, we can very quickly, or our customers can very quickly develop repeating tasks for welding parts, which takes away a very boring, dull task for operators. But more importantly, it produces a very high quality, repeatable product for them. So the applications that you can do with a collaborative robot is really limited to your imagination or what the needs are of the customer. Keeping in mind, of course, that the normal processes are highly repeatable and perhaps don't need the high level of dexterity that a human would do. So it's not there to replace humans. Humans have still have a very big demand in manufacturing, but it's some of those processes that the cobot can do, more of the tasks that are just, as I say, repeatable. So yeah, the end of arm tooling can be bespoke and designed specifically for the type of application. But I guess that the typical areas would be pick and place. In other words, pick up a part and place it in a box or into the next assembly process, for example. It could be an assembly process such as screw driving. It could be a finishing process such as welding or sanding or polishing. It could be palletizing at the end of a line when all the parts are put into a box or product is put into a box. That box needs to be put onto a pallet for shipping. Well, the cobot can be picking up that box and placing it onto the pallet in the correct pattern. So those are the sort of processes that we typically are seeing as the ideal application for collaborative robots.
Yeah, so you had mentioned in there that these cobots really, in each of these applications, they're not really designed to replace humans. You know,
Oh no, no,
they're
definitely
they're
not.
yeah, they're collaborative. They're designed to augment the processes that humans are currently performing. Is that fair to say?
That's exactly right. It's an augmentation of the process. Um, you've got to keep in mind that most of the processes that humans do can be fully automated with the use of special purpose machinery and all those sort of things. But the cost of implementation of those special purpose machinery is limited to the really big manufacturers that can afford to spend, $1 million or $2 million on these special purpose machinery. For for most of our customers that are in the small and medium sized businesses, they can't justify the cost of these very specialized pieces of equipment. And so the human element is by far the better way to go. However, if we can allow those humans to be doing the value part of the process and let collaborative robots, which are a much lower cost for implementation, do the repetitive, boring tasks, then at the end of the day, it adds a real lot of value to the owner of the business.
Yes, that was that benefit to the owners and the managers that you were alluding to
Correct.
earlier.
Mm-hmm.
We've kind of come full circle with that. One of the interesting things that you had mentioned before was that the tooling is what I guess coupled with the payload and the reach of the cobot itself, the tooling is what enables the application. And you had mentioned one of our suppliers on Robot who have a whole range of sort of plug and play end effectors that can do exactly that. They're going to enable that application. What about unique applications? We have conversations semi regularly about people who have weird and wacky applications that they would like to test the feasibility of using cobots for. Can we create custom grippers that are sort of outside of the scope of some of our suppliers? How unique can we get there?
Yes, absolutely. We're fortunate within Diverseco that we've got the skill sets, the people on board who have a lot of many years of robot application, and they know the various ways to create really quite unique types of gripping mechanisms and etc. manipulators to do various jobs. And so having those sort of people within our own team, the designers, the engineers, etc., we're able to design a process that is not off the shelf. It's totally bespoke to the particular application that you require. And that's everything from picking up very fine items to picking up very heavy items and manipulating them in a way that you can't necessarily do with an off-the-shelf type gripping mechanism. And yeah, we're very pleased to be able to have that capability in-house to be able to offer that process for our customers for their applications. And so we obviously we need to look at what the customer needs are. What's the end result? And the most important, this is all about, from a customer's perspective, what can it do for me? How can it help my business? And we have to look at that and say, okay, the best way we can help you is to get to your end result is to do this, this, and this. And that may require a bespoke design of gripper or some other part of the process. It might be, for example, it might be a lifting mechanism or a traverse track. All of these things are available, seventh axes, to make the whole process more versatile and more value to at the end of the day for the customer.
Yes, that seventh axis is particularly interesting because I know for palletizing operations, I mean, if you're stacking a large pallet, if you're looking at a cobot with a reach of, what is it, 1.9 meters, let's say, or
1.7, yeah.
1.7, that's probably not enough to stack a pallet to its, to 2 meters, 2.2 meters high, is it? So with that seventh axis, that really it enables even more applications, and as time goes on, there's becoming more and more of these additions to cobots that are just allowing them to do so much more.
Absolutely, yes. One of the advantages of the seventh axis, the lifting mechanism from OnRobot, is number one, it is fully collaborative, so that's a good safety element. But yes, it does allow us to stack, or our customers to stack pallets up to 2.2 meters. Now, if you're familiar with customers are familiar with container transport, the typical height for a high container inside is 2.2 meters. But often, if there's an automatic palletizing unit that only palletizes to maybe 1.4 or 1.6 meters, then there's a lot of headspace within that container that is being paid for but is not being used. So if the products that are being palletized are going into a container for shipment whether it be across Australia or across the world, you want to maximize your volume uptake within that container. And having the ability to utilize a collaborative robot to palletize to a full 2.2 meters is a real game changer. Typically, you would have to have gone to an industrial robot to be able to get the reach to be able to do that 2.2 meters. Now we're able to do it with a collaborative robot, which makes it more accessible to the small and medium enterprises. And with the situation in Australia now, where there's a lot more production coming back to Australia, reshoring of manufacturing in Australia, it means that our manufacturers are shipping their products all over Australia and potentially all over the world. And that does mean that there's a whole lot more containerized product being moved around. So let's maximize the value of that container volume and stack our pallets to the maximum height. That's where the Cobot with the lifter comes into its own.